Much for choosing GHOne TV. It's always a delight when we join you with the latest happening on GHOne TV. Well, thank you very much. We're swinging into some of the top stories that we have for you tonight. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, Reach Hospital nurse sues social media activist Ralph St. Williams for 7 million Ghana cedis over assault and defamation, as Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association condemns and describes perpetrators of the assaults as rascals.
Wait for 8 months without salary. They stole her phone and her 800 Ghana cedis. So it means they are rascals.
Also coming up tonight, anti-illegal mining task force in the GHOne East District invades major illegal mining sites, destroying machines and arresting 2 suspects. We'll update you tonight with business, and here in business, economist Professor Godfrey Buckman believes sharp rise in cedi values is less a sign of stability and more a disruption that could hurt key sectors of the economy. And then we'll bring you some streets of Manchester come alive with culture, music, and arts as the Womba Art Festival officially launches in Accra. Tonight we have these.
This is the time we
All right, so tonight we have these and many other interesting stories, including business and also bringing you some sports updates. Be my guest, stay with us as we bring you all these stories and many more. All right, so thank you very much for choosing GHOne TV. My name is Kweku Timi. Let's take our very first story for tonight. And here, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association has cautioned trainee nurses not to allow themselves to be manipulated by politicians. While speaking at the annual Delegates Congress of the Ghana Nurses and Midwives Trainee Association, General Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Dr. David Tenkran-Chum, condemned recent incidents of assault on a nurse at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, describing the perpetrators as rascals. So he's had no justification to lay hands on a nurse. He also urged trainee nurses to exhibit professionalism as they train to become nurses.
At the Ridge Hospital, leading to an alleged assault of a nurse on duty, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association still insists no nurse should be subjected to an assault. Speaking during the 2025 Annual Delegates Congress of the Ghana Nurses Midwives Trainee Association, General Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Dr. David Tenkran-Chum, launched a scathing attack on the perpetrators of the act, describing them as rascals.
I see no wisdom in anybody attempting to assault a nurse or a midwife in Ghana. You have no right whatsoever, no matter who you think you are. You can't lay a hand on a nurse. Remember something happened at Manchester during the previous administration. We were very vociferous about it. We spoke against it. 24-hour strike was declared. Even that one, the nurse wasn't beaten. She was verbally assaulted by a father of a doctor, let alone such a rascal. The lady that was beaten, and I'm telling you that she was manhandled. She had right shoulder dislocation. She's a rotation nurse, she's worked for 8 months without salary. They stole her phone and her 800 Ghana cedis. So it means they are rascals.
He urged trainee nurses not to allow themselves to be micromanaged by politicians.
Don't allow any politician, don't allow any other anybody or any organization to say that, oh, let's have this, let's have that. No. When we are united, we become very formidable. Look at the recent strike. Whilst we are going this way, another group, any union that aligns with government is not worth it. We have to collaborate with government, we have to cooperate with government, but we don't have to be in bed with government, irrespective of whichever political party is in power. And we must be very reasonable when it comes to some of these things, because they will come and go. We won't allow them to come and use us and go.
However, the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Jefferson Asari Dankwa, appealed to trainee nurses to guard against the use of social media, particularly TikTok, in their uniforms, rallying members to safeguard the integrity of the profession, stressing the need for unity.
The biggest problem we have is today in nursing, the use of social media. We beg you, reduce the misuse of the social media for us, such that when we go in to fight for you, they won't have anything to say. Please, I am never saying that social media is not good, but how to handle social media is very important. And if you want to say green now, found for TikTok and cancer, well, to anti-relevant.
Interim Committee Chairman of the Ghana Nurses Midwives Trainee Association, Batia Semi Ula Santiago, also backed the legal action by the nurse who was allegedly assaulted by Ralph St. Williams.
So the nurse suing Ralph is a step in the right direction, and GHOne is in full support of that, and we are backing her. We stand with her. We will not let her go down alone in history. We'll be with her till the end of this. And trust me, it is high time we took certain things to a level where people will know that nurses and midwives' lives matter. We have a voice. We are just the same as the ordinary person you see in another work site. We are not created from a different planet.
The annual Delegate Congress by the Ghana Nurses Midwives Trainee Association was themed Rebuilding Trust, Restoring Leadership, a New Dawn for United Trainee Nurses and Midwives.
Allow me to say some more with nurses as the nurse at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, that's Ridge Hospital, Rejoice Chochobote, has filed a lawsuit against social media activist Ralph St. Williams over allegations of assault and defamation. While in a writ filed at the High Court, Ms. Bote is demanding 7 million Ghana cedis in damages. That's 5 million for battery and 2 million Ghana cedis for defamation after she claimed the activist physically attacked her and later published damaging remarks about her on social media. Well, according to the statement of claim, the incident occurred on Sunday, August 17, 2025, while Ms. Bote was on duty at the Ridge Hospital. She alleges that Mr. Williams stormed the emergency ward with a group of men demanding immediate treatment for what he described as an injury to his finger. When staff insisted he follow hospital procedures, he allegedly became violent, hurling insults and filming staff and patients without consent. Well, the nurse stated that in the course of treating other patients, she was struck by Mr. Williams with a clenched fist and a metallic cell phone before being attacked by the activist and his alleged followers. Well, she suffered injuries to her arm, shoulder, waist, wrist, and other parts of her body and has since been experiencing chest pains, severe headaches, and trauma, including panic attacks. Well, Ms. Bote further accuses Mr. Williams of later publishing a live video in which he called her a liar and claimed she had fabricated her injuries to recover the nonsense going on at the hospital. Well, she urges the comments damaged her reputation as a professional nurse, casting her as untrustworthy and fit to practice. Beyond damages, the plaintiff is also seeking a court order compelling Mr. Williams to issue a public retraction and apologize and an injunction restraining him from publishing further defamatory statements, and another injunction preventing him from coming within 50 meters of her space. So yes, Ms. Bote files lawsuit there, and you can see the rate sheets right there on your screens. All right, so definitely I would want to hold a conversation on the back of this. Well, Samuel Arthur is a health analyst, and he joins me via Zoom for a conversation on this particular subject and how it has unfolded and issues coming up afterwards. Now, Sammy, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Let me find out from you. So how do you assess the way this incident has unfolded, even to the point of a lawsuit by the nurse?
All right. So good evening, Kweku, and very good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners too. So this issue actually really is an unfortunate issue actually that has unfolded. It really is a dark mark on our nation's psyche, particularly within the health sector. And I think the actions from the gentlemen, the perpetrators of the violence, and the seeming negligence on the part of the clinicians, and that is regrettable, it's unfortunate, and we should not see something like this anytime soon, or even in the near future or very late future. It's unfortunate and it's undesirable.
All right, it's quite interesting. So the Ghana Registered Nurses had a meeting where they brought all the nurses together, I think at the annual general meeting, and they've cautioned training nurses against being manipulated by politicians. Of course, when it comes to Alawa, when it comes to activities, you realize that training nurses are usually very much divided here and there, and some following their favorite politicians. How critical is political neutrality in maintaining the integrity of the nursing profession?
Great. Kweku, it's for me, it's heartwarming to hear this coming from the leadership of the fraternity of nurses and midwives, and also particularly for trainees, because then very soon I'm sure they may be coming out of school and they will be at the point of practicing, and it's important that we imbibe in them the right culture, the right ethics, so they can be able to dispense the kind of health delivery actually they have been taught through the processes actually they have been trained. So that's fantastic. But Kweku, you see, this is a very funny, forgive me if I sound a bit rude, a very funny country where, we all would be preaching and saying, hey, Jesus, Jesus, but the next moment we are all in the shrines seeking help from our fathers, tomb or that. Let's be careful. You see, in our various institutions, tertiary institutions, we have various groupings of political institutions. And these young people from these political institutions within these tertiary institutions, some of which also are some of these nursing training schools, they come out of the school and become political leaders and align to one or the other party. So somehow there's a subculture which is creeping into everybody, particularly within the school culture and at the tertiary level, because we have seen a lot of people who were quite loud at that level, student activism through this political party alignment, and came out, and most of them have become ministers, and they are same people that are leading what we also detest and we are fighting to turn around. So it is really funny. Sometimes you want to ask yourself, do we really mean business? Do we want to see a change, or are we just trying to play to the gallery? Or, like you see, we just want to tickle ourselves and laugh. But there's nothing to laugh about, Kweku.
Bring to your attention another issue that cropped up that may catch your interest. But let me play myself back a little bit. So yes, scrolling to social media, you will see a nurse in green, maybe very curvy, and then, displaying a picture. Now, it has come up that nurses in particular should be mindful, especially on TikTok, and TikTok was mentioned here, about how, they go about their activities on social media. It begs the question, well, I'm a nurse, but I also have my freedoms. I mean, yes. I mean, after work, if I decide that, look, this is how I want to look, albeit in a uniform, what is my caution here? How would you react to this?
Yes, Kweku, for me, we have freedoms, but we know the freedoms are not limitless. You know, they come with certain limitations, and we have certain exceptions within the rule. So it's as much as, like they say in the account, they say, but for me, as the nurse, you know, this is a noble profession, and they have been seen over time within the community as having, you see, they are portrayed in a certain manner, and there's a certain expectation of the community we all find ourselves in of these nurses and midwives. Now, for me, growing up as a child, we all used to see them wearing the white and the green, and they were one of the most very neat and respected, you know, people, professionals within the community, and we all know. And they also, because of that, held some positions within the community, and for that matter, they within church and even in other sectors of our community. So they were expected to behave in a certain manner. So I can imagine when you're a nurse that is supposed to be taking care of people at the point of life and death, and they see you on TikTok playing some joke and pranks, you know, of course, that may be your private life, but because of the public nature of your work, it may be conflicting or it may be playing into people's perception about you. It may not be the real thing, but perceptions are really, you know, cruel issues that can hit you from any angle. You may not have any control over it, but it can come and hit you so hard and even destroy. So for me, whether in uniform or out of uniform, it's important that we conduct ourselves in a certain manner, you know, which is becoming of us within the society, mostly what is largely or normally expected. We would not want to ask everybody to key in one direction, but of course, we all know what is accepted. And in some instances, when you see some of these TikToking videos, they are unnecessary, and it really doesn't add up to the work they do. In some cases, they are just unnecessary, Kweku. All
right, so Samantha, just before you go, now I have been rolling this video of the assault at Ridge Hospital, so let me quickly chip in a question before I allow you to go. Now, the incident of assault on nurses continue. Yes, we all know it would not be Ridge Hospital. Maybe you could find it in Lekma, down Tema, or anywhere else in the regions. But let me find out from you, long-term risk. Nurses retention, we see a lot of them trying to find their way to other parts of the country. Do you foresee Ghana's healthcare workforce retention and patient trust shaky a little bit if this should continue?
Yes, Kuku, I guess because of the national nature this issue has assumed, it's important that all of us come around the table pertinently, of course, with leadership from even the presidency, from the ministry, from the operating arm of the ministry, which is the Ghana Health Service, and even all the associations. It's important we come around to deal with this issue and bring out the fouls in them. And for those that committed those fouls, let's find a way to hold them liable and punish them in a manner that will be deterrent of this action in any other facility, wherever they find themselves. For me, Kweku, I think it is nauseating. It is something we should not even countenance. And anybody that would move to assault a nurse, irrespective of it, whether you were provoked or not, for me, it should be dealt with as someone who probably may attack a soldier in uniform or a police in uniform. It is something we should not think of and we should not encourage. Now, Kweku, it is true. This happened also because the security within the arena these nurses who found themselves was flat. You know, it was on the ground. There was nobody that showed up actually to support these nurses. And it brings the issue of safety at the workplace. So it's important, you know, and Kweku, when people begin to become afraid because one time or the other, of course, these nurses are working also very hard in very difficult situations. Equipment are not around to support, and in some cases, you find people, the patient just needs oxygen. The nurse cannot conjure oxygen, but then families of patients will be jumping on the nurse, and in most cases they become the victims. It's unfortunate. We need to find a way to deter that action and ensure also that the nurses are safe. But like they say, it's important that we also look at our emergency response system, particularly on the part of the clinicians, the nurses. Now, so even if you cannot respond to a patient immediately, communication is very critical, in situations like this. And if you can approach people and let them know why they need to delay a little bit because you're attending to another client, I'm sure reasonable people will understand you.
Absolutely.
And you see, because of this, we are talking about the triage. How many of us within the population understand the triage system? So there's some education also we, the clients, all of us, public have to begin to know. There's the patient charter we need to understand about the patient's rights and responsibilities. And if we clearly know this, nobody would want to assault the nurse, but rather we would want to send the complaint to the leadership or the management of the facility. And then they can take it up from there.
Samuel Arthur, thank you very much for joining us. Samuel Arthur is a health analyst. Let's stay more on health as the Pantang Psychiatric Hospital is marking its 50th anniversary with renewed calls for redevelopment into the modern Pan-African neuropsychiatric facility. Well, acting medical director Dr. Malog Yensong says while the hospital has undertaken renovation and green projects as part of its Jubilee celebrations, more support is needed from the government and the public to leave a lasting legacy for future generations.
50 years old, the Pantang Psychiatric Hospital is reflecting on its journey and charting a bold vision for the future. Commissioned in 1975 under the General Ignatius Kutu Ichampon's administration, Pantang Hospital, one of only 3 psychiatric hospitals in Ghana, remains under-resourced. Acting Medical Director Dr. Yunisum Maluk says, despite limited government allocations, the hospital has relied heavily on its internally generated funds to embark on projects including renovations, a green initiative, and the captive-free program aimed at treating and reintegrating mentally ill persons back into society.
This project has been going for the past few years, but the cost is becoming unbearable for the hospital. And this is a project that is ongoing, and then we will need support for that. Infrastructure-wise, we are very challenged. Like I said, most of our infrastructure are over 50 years old. So we need all the support.
Dr. Yenusum stressed the need for a redesigned, modernized Pantang Hospital that would serve not just Ghana, but the wider sub-region as a Pan-African neuropsychiatric center for treatment and research.
Because the vision of Osajifo was that Pantang Hospital should be a Pan-African neuropsychiatric hospital, whereby people from the sub-region will come and access mental health care, will come and research into neuropsychiatric conditions. So we are going to push, and we have already set up a research team that can help drive this agenda.
He urged the public and corporate bodies to support the hospital, pledging that with the backing of government and partners, Pantang can leave behind a legacy that will stand for the next 50 years.
All right, so let's talk education at this moment. As the West African Examination Council, I'm talking about WAEC, has released the provisional results of the 2025 Basic Certificate Examination. That's a BECE for school candidates. Well, best online courses in that's a BECE online courses in a press statement dated 2025. This year's BECE recorded a total of 603,328 candidates, comprising 227,250 males and 306,078 females from 20,395 schools across the country. Well, the candidates' population also included individuals with special needs, that's 72, while visually impaired were 239 with hearing impairments, and we had 161 requiring other needs. Well, WIRE confirmed in a statement signed by John Kapi, head of public affairs, that following investigations into irregularities during the examination and script marking, the 36 meetings of the final awards and examiners appointments committee approved the following actions. Subject results of 718 candidates were cancelled. Entire results of some 177 candidates were cancelled, and subject results of some 1,240 candidates were withheld. Entire results of some 93 candidates were also withheld. Well, this brings the total number of cancelled results to some 895, withheld results to 1,333. So initially, ahead of this information, some 895 results were cancelled, but it is now jumped to 1,333. Well, subject results from 119 schools were cancelled, while results from 87 schools remain under further scrutiny. The outcome of these ongoing investigations will determine whether the withheld results are released or cancelled by September 6, 2025. WIRE cautions students and public to be wary of fraudsters who promise to upgrade results for a fee. The council emphasized that its results are secure, tamper-proof, and verifiable. All right, so the BECE results are released, and you could check online and get your own with all the updates. We'll bring you more stories. Presidential Envoy for Interfaith and Ecumenical Relations, Elvis Afriye Ankra, has clarified that his office was not created to receive prophecies. Well, you may recall that after the helicopter tragedy, his office released a statement directing that all national prophecies, especially those involving government officials, be addressed to the presidency. Well, speaking at the inauguration of Dr. J. Kofi Texan's Memorial Skills Development Center at Feku Ekrofo in the Abra Asebu Kwamankese district of the Central Region, he stressed that he is waiting to receive prophecies that highlight the progress of the country.
That and CS will be having more visions of a Ghana that is transformed, of a Ghana that is changed, of a Ghana that is developed, of a Ghana that is prosperous and wealthy, so that we can all benefit from that. Enough of the death prophecies. My office is not the office of receiving prophecies. It has nothing to do with prophecies. That was just by the thing going on, we can manage it. So if you have any prophecy about Ghana becoming like Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, come and see me.
All right, so let's talk about mining at this moment. And here, the Anti-Illegal Mining Task Force in the Etiwa East District of the Eastern Region has evaded major illegal mining sites, destroying close to 100 machines and arresting 2 suspects, while the operations targeted mining activities along the Brim River at Ankase and Enyinim, where the illegal miners had deployed inland Shamfang machines designed to pump water through long rubber hoses to wash gold back into the Brim, leaving the river heavily polluted and surrounding environments devastated. There's more in the following report.
A task force made up of the military, police, and local volunteers carried out the raid under the directive of the District Chief Executive, Ernest Owusu Intim. The team to protect the Brim River and restore it to its natural status. The illegal miners, numbering a total of 100, fled upon seeing the task force approaching the sites. But due to the difficult terrain and threat of drowning, 2 suspects were arrested. At Ankase, the task force was challenged by some well-built men protecting the illegal miners, but the military neutralized their threats. A leader of the anti-Galamsey group, Somaila Ahmed, expressed worry over lack of support from communities devastated by illegal mining.
Challenges you face you more na criticism, and the individuals no be threatening you. You be see, but I know the MBA because nipa me GD say nipa uwe ba ko pemi wu ameko. Enti ne be ya magana yensu no ho ate no. Eno na focus and this year so no ne target say ye brim no ye be hwa ani ateni nsunsu ededa etiwa ha ne mpatam no eni beti.
Al-Hassan Muniru appealed to government to consider banning the importation of chamfer machines and spare parts to aid the fight against illegal mining.
Omo de chamfer any one leg asinsu no so no eni ne ye butai pa de ye need aso ba ko pa ye pese ye na ye tu ate ema brim ate ema ye ai be boa de anka aban no timi edi nhye bi to se sa nema na be ba no nka memba biem ena nka be boa yen pa because ye fight ya kwa kopa abubu ase yes still a shop obesanya bi ato aba ye be sanko nti ye sra ban se sa chamfa nema no ye sra ne pa.
The two persons picked up during the raid are currently in police custody awaiting court appearance.
Let's talk about labor now. In the face of Ghana's rising unemployment, the technology sector is being spotlighted as a key driver of jobs and innovation. Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Smile Gavwajizi, says opportunities in the digital economy are vast and insists computer science graduates in particular have no excuse to be unemployed. Well, she was speaking at the seminar to mark the 20th anniversary of the Computer Science Department of Koforidua Technical University. Here is more.
According to the Ghana Statistical Service, quarterly labor force statistics for the first 3 quarters of 2023, approximately 22.3% of individuals who faced unemployment had completed tertiary. But Professor Smile GC, the Deputy Director General of Ghana Education Service, speaking at seminar to mark the 20th anniversary of the Computer Science Department at Koforidua Technical University, stressed that computer science program is designed to blend academic training with entrepreneurship, ensuring that students graduate with practical skills to launch their own tech ventures, therefore have no excuse to complain of unemployment.
So we always make sure that students are able to start their own businesses in the tech space right after school. They are encouraged that right in school, they should start developing their own ideas, entrepreneurial and what have you. So there's no way you can complete this school, this computer science department of Koforidua Technical University, and be sitting idle in the house. So we have inspired and encouraged these students to be bold, to be courageous, making use of the opportunity that is offered to them in Koforidua Technical University Computer Science Department so that they can be able to create jobs and employ others as well, instead of sitting at home waiting for government to employ them.
She lauded government's commitment to digitalization and IT integration in schools, adding that government is working with high-tech companies to improve infrastructure and create more opportunities for students. Yakubu Lantam, Abdul Jabba, an alumnus of the department and co-founder of 2 tech companies, also shared his successful story. He said graduates from the department have no reason to remain unemployed, citing the many opportunities available in the tech industry.
The skills that you need is to be very, very adaptive. You have to be creative. You have to be innovative. Now, the skills are for you to be able to have a problem-solving mindset. These are the skills that are needed. These are soft skills that you need, and you have to be disciplined. And you have to have integrity, because in the IT sector, if you don't have integrity, people cannot trust you with their data or information and secrecy.
Head of the Department of Computer Science at KTU, Dr. Ebenezer Kobra Gavwa, he announced plans to establish a state-of-the-art computer laboratory.
Lack of resources. And in our celebration, what we are putting forward to private companies and the government is to resource us 200 computers will go a long way to ensure teaching and learning and productive work to be done in this institution. So 1 million coders. Kofreda Tinker University, we are coding here. Our students code everywhere. There are several applications they are developing, and these are fantastic coders. I mean, within one semester, if you see what they can do. So we are calling for private organization, traditional leaders, every stakeholder in the Ghanaian media and digital space to come to our aid.
The Kofreda Technical University Computer Science Department is marking 20 years of producing graduates who are shaping the digital future of Ghana and beyond.
Reporting for GHOne TV and Star FM, Kojo Ansang.
Well, let's talk about more jobs. Over 52,000 unemployed youth in Ghana's central region are set to benefit from the government's initiated free apprenticeship program aimed at reducing unemployment. Well, the program, which trains youth in various vocational skills such as tailoring, hairdressing, carpentry, mechanics, and more, was introduced as part of President John Dramani Mahamad's 2024 campaign promises. Well, the following has more.
Deputy Acting CEO of the Youth Employment Agency, Adongo Jacob, emphasized that beneficiaries should take the program seriously. He highlighted that government is providing free tools, equipment, and feeding to support apprentices, removing financial barriers that often hinder skill acquisition.
We are in the central region today to kickstart our national apprenticeship program that was promised by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama during the 2024 general elections. We promised to ensure that we provide training for the teeming young people who are not in education, not in employment, and others that who are also completed school and are not getting jobs. This program will provide them with immediate jobs.
The Central Regional Coordinator for the program, Emmanuel Abeku Essien, confirmed that all 23 districts in the region are involved, with 1,150 selected trainees for the first batch. He also noted that 250 trainees have been chosen from 6,000 applicants to facilitate the training. The program is intended to be continuous, with yearly enrollment to ensure a significant and lasting impact on youth unemployment.
And this one, we are doing it in a way that the apprentices will benefit from the program. They're going to get the desire or the needed skills that they need to also become masters in future, just to help increase or reduce the unemployment rate in the country. So what we are doing today is just to make sure that the masters are being trained well, equip them with the needed skills to train our apprentices for us.
Both officials urge beneficiaries to commit seriously to the training to help resolve the country's unemployment challenges.
All right, so the Paramount Chief of Breman Odifo Amakwa Bwedu, the eighth, who doubles as the president of the Central Regional House of Chiefs, has urged all sub-chiefs and residents above 18 years in the Breman community to pay some 50 pesos every month starting July 1 to help reshape the deplorable roads in the Isikuma or Dobin Brakwa district of the Central Region.
Major roads no dama contractors say Womba Art Day. Nenso yehu say akwani nye afi se babidi afase. Kabahwe na akwani ya wana wabaso we ninji. Nti ye bompai say yebidi afase de na ye nkwan we twa so mines na be ya ono beba no wo hu aharon oba we tumi akona wa babim. If say woba na say akwani ya Wonka se wonko bemesku mpa wombeso beko opiem. Nti ebo mpai se obetwa kwen so ansana yedi afase afim. Yo man na se nyame ya wadom na se wo ka kwan akota wo so a so bomodin se obebo ho ban. If se mpepi no se poto no bema na yeyiye ni ye maintain ti se aban fa kota begumu a they say, Omanja Besha na ekwani na say, me say Emma Yakwechi. Inti Yeshe say, Assembly member Bia Beshe, say Obedinim, I am for Beshe, Obedinim, na poto say Oyakim na Yashe, na yes.
All right, so all is set for us to bring you the latest happenings from our world of business.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
This now the chairman of the technical subcommittee of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee. I'm talking about PIAC, and representative of civil society organizations, that's the CSO, Richard Alima, has urged the government to secure urgent investments in Ghana's upstream petroleum sector. Well, he emphasized that such investments are vital to boosting national revenue for critical development initiatives. Speaking during a media engagement in the northern region, he expressed concerns over the significant decline in the country's oil production, warning that the resulting revenue shortfall could hinder key government programs such as the Free SHS and the Big Push initiative.
Has dropped sharply, 0.4 million barrels to 48 million barrels as of December 2024. This decline poses a significant threat to government revenue mobilization and could negatively impact development planning and the execution of key flagship projects. In response, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, has called on the government to take immediate steps to attract major investors to the upstream petroleum sector. Richard Elima, chairman of PIAC's technical subcommittee, spoke to GHOne TV's Northern Regional correspondent Noah Nash in Tamale.
Recommended that government takes robust measures to attract investments into our petroleum sector to show up our production levels. There are big players out there. There's the ExxonMobil, the Total, etc., etc. Ghana must have a share of this kind of investment so that we can develop our untapped petroleum resources. We have only been able to develop just a fraction of our potential. We need more investments in the sector to unlock the more of these petroleum resources to benefit the country. At the end of the day, the country itself doesn't have the needed resources to be able to do the investment. So we'll rely on these petroleum industry players, both foreign and local, to come into the sector, put in their money, do more exploration, and then do more production.
He also recommended that the Ghana Revenue Authority be included in all petroleum agreements signed by the Energy Commission. According to him, this will help prevent losses in the surface rental revenue and improve transparency and accountability in the sector.
Surface rental arrears is that there's no interagency collaboration. The Petroleum Commission is the regulator of the sector. So when we sign our petroleum agreements, they are a party to this agreement on behalf of the state. And they basically regulate who comes in and who goes out and the terms of the investments and so on. So when a new company comes into the picture and they sign a petroleum agreement, they are supposed to liaise with Ghana Revenue Authority so that the company will then pay the appropriate rates and appropriate fees and so on to the government. But most of the time when the Petroleum Commission engages these investors, they do not involve the Ghana Revenue Authority. So this kind of lack of interagency collaboration has led to the GRA being left in the cold about some of these arrangements. They only come in when probably it's too late to even act. So these investors leave the shores of this country before they are even aware.
All right, let's talk more business as the city has gained more than 40% in value this year, one of the strongest performance in its history. But economist Professor Godfred Bokpin says that sharp rise is less a sign of stability and more a disruption that could hurt key sectors of the Ghanaian economy.
The city has sparked mixed excitement among businesses and the public. While some welcomed the development as a good move by the government,
Others maintain that the rapid appreciation of the local currency is detrimental to businesses. According to Professor Adbopin, Ghana must not mistake short-term gains for true economic progress.
The most effective way to ensure the stability of your currency is to manage your economy well. So it means that whatever happens to the exchange rate, we should be able to trace it to the economy and the fundamentals of the economy.
Professor Adbopin explained that sudden currency strength could make Ghana less attractive for tourism and exports, underscoring the need for balanced policies anchored in productivity and job creation.
If we can trace the aggressive strengthening of the currency to the fundamentals of the economy, that there's structural transformation, there's productivity transformation, the economy is growing, we are creating jobs and all of that, then we can say, guys, it's time to relax. The cedi has arrived.
Professor Adbopin was speaking at a cedi appreciation seminar organized by the Prudential Bank in Accra.
A stable currency, as we've witnessed in the past few months, also presents opportunities that most of us will need to align with, irrespective of the business that we do. And we, as Prudential Bank, are committed to providing you with the support and guidance you need to thrive in this environment.
For Professor Adbopin, currency management should be a means to an end, not the end itself.
All right, so the Economic and Organized Crime Office, I'm talking about GHOne, has been called upon to investigate alleged payroll fraud and ghost names in the Seshia Kontombra district. Well, Member of Parliament for the area, Pius Kwame Inkua, who raised the concerns, revealed that some staff of the Akontombra District Assembly were drawing salaries without being at post before he assumed office.
The revelation came when the Akontombra District Assembly in the Western North region held its first ordinary meeting to account for its performance and plan for the future. Stakeholders, including assembly members, traditional leaders, and community representatives, gathered as the MP presented a detailed report of his 7 months in office.
If I have the opportunity to mention everything here to you, Akontombra, we all have to right for ourselves. And I think this time, with my able DCE and the coordinating director, we will all make sure every contractor who would be awarded any project in the district will do the needful and make sure there is value for money.
On transparency and accountability, the Member of Parliament for the area, Pius Kwame Inkua, bemoaned what he described as a disturbing discovery.
I have a certain staff on your payroll who were receiving government salaries in this particular assembly. Without being opposed, I wrote to GHOne, and the individuals involved are now under investigations. I will pursue this case to its conclusion to ensure the law is applied and the public health is protected.
The district chief executive, Joseph Appiah, on his part, expressed regrets over the continuous rise in illegal mining, stressing the need for collective action.
And almost continuously, about 2-3 months now, we've not heard of any death from Accra. But I've gathered that Accra Street people now do come there at night. So DISEC need to meet and review how we can combat those who goes there at night.
He added that 26 youth from the district have been trained to support anti-galamsey operations as part of efforts to promote responsible mining.
It is important we all come on board in the fight against illegal mining. That is the surest tribute we can all give to the 8 Ghana communities who unfortunately lost their lives in the fight against illegal mining.
The Member of Parliament and the District Chief Executive assured residents of their joint commitment to transparency, accountability, and development with hopes of restoring confidence in local governance at Akontombra.
All right, so that's about all we have for you in business tonight, but we're not done. Do hold on a minute, because when we come back, we're bringing you the latest from our world of sports.
The Business Brief.
In sports tonight, chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, I'm talking about GHOne, Mr. John Ansah, has given clarification into why there were penalty shootouts between Hearts of Oak and BBNE Gold Stars on match day 2 of the ongoing GHOne Top 4 tournament. Well, Hearts of Oak in the game played at the University of Ghana Stadium had to come from 2 goals down to draw 2-2 with Gold Stars, after which there were penalty shootouts to decide a winner, although the tournament is in a league format. Well, Mr. Ansah, who also was speaking on GHOne TV right after the game yesterday, explained that the penalties were aimed at preparing the teams for African and the league, but was also quick to apologize for the misunderstanding.
I wanted to apologize to the public for not getting to know much about it. We were expecting our clubs to use their social media handles to have the public the notice about all this. Unfortunately, they did not do that. So we really apologize to them. So you realize that we have some of this particular rule that we added to the top 4 was a discussion we all had and we agreed. Now let me give you a background. What helped us from doing this is that the teams are going to Africa. The local league is also about starting. And you and I will attest to the fact that we've been struggling with penalty shootouts in this country. Run it through the national teams and whatever, like what you have. And so we decided and agreed on this. But because all the matches have ended with a win, we were not able to have the opportunity. That's how come it was being introduced now. The one who won this penalty shootout have only 1 point to add to what he has.
Okay.
And so they have a document that we agreed and prepared and gave it to the clubs. So all the clubs are aware.
All right, still on GHOne Top 4, coach of Accra Hearts of Oak, Marcel Didi Dramani, whose team lost to BBNE Gold Stars on penalty shootout after a 2-2 draw on match day 2, is optimistic of building a team that can be competitive in the Ghana Premier League.
In the team and then both defensively and offensively, but I think that the latter parts we were able to rectify this, and so we took control in the greater part of the second half, and that is how we got the equalizer and self-dominated play in several situations. But as I said, they are a stronger side. They are already an existing team, and so you can understand that they play with that fluidity and then that compactness. We'll get there. I'm very positive that we'll get there.
Well, for the last match day of the 2025 GHOne Top 4, BBNE Gold Stars, who were first on the Top 4 league with 5 points, will face Andoh Hearts of Lions in a game that could see a win for either side and them GHOne trophy. Well, at 6 p.m., Hearts of Oak will face Kumasi Asante Kotoko. I believe the match is underway in what could be a crowning moment for the Phobians if they get a win with a favorable results in the other game. Well, all the games will be at the University of Ghana Stadium and live on GHOne TV and across EIB network platforms. All right, so we're bringing you shortly some more sports, and here the stage is set for an electrifying night of boxing at the Bukum Boxing Arena as Jacob Dixon, the Beast, squares off against Ernest Akushi Duabali in a highly anticipated cruiserweight showdown on September 12th. Well, the bout handling Monaco, the night to prove by sports education and management that promises fireworks, with both fighters vowing to each other's career.
And prepares to face Anas Baoubali Yakushe in the headline clash of Monaco.
the night to prove.
And this is a bigger fight among all the fights in Ghana, and you can trust and bet it. So what I have to say is to come in numbers.
Dixon, boasting a record of 14 wins and just 2 defeats, has vowed to knock down his opponent within the early rounds, promising nothing short of a career-ending performance.
I definitely know this is going to be at the end of his career. I'm not going to punish him, I'm going to switch him off. He'll go down. I predict on round 3, but exactly round 4, everything will end.
But Akushe, carrying 6 victories and a single loss, insists he's fixed his past mistakes and is ready to unleash something new and explosive to shock his rival.
You like a J-box, I mean, like a J-box, I mean, she no more for film. Nigga, the Magba and no feel it. Pago, Baba, make the warrior. Obanyo Shore, unless you kiss the oro. Before you cross the river on the 12th September, Buko Boxing Arena. Everybody know what Bob Ali can do. I'll do it. I promise all my fans.
The undercard adds even more excitement with Daniel Emperor Gosh, John Expensive Boxer Lai, and Musa Rahman Award Ade Lawson all in action. Meanwhile, Sam has signed the national super welterweight champion Musa Rahman Award Ade Lawson in a 3-year renewable managerial contract. The promotional body has also signed juvenile Benjamin Ankra, a move aimed at grooming the two into world-class champions. Come September 12th, the Bukom faithful will witness a night of skill, grit, and pure boxing drama.
All right, at this moment, we'll refresh you with some entertainment on GHOne, but definitely not to miss out on the boxing match at Bukom Arena later. Right, so the streets of Gamashi will come alive with culture, music, and arts as the Womba Street Arts Festival officially launches in Accra, where the week-long celebration promises traditional cleansing, rituals, storytelling, street carnivals, exhibition, and musical performance, all designed to showcase Ghana heritage and creativity.
Ushering in a vibrant week of cultural activities across Gamashi. In its 3rd year following the successful maiden edition in 2023, the festival promises to be a major event on the annual GHOne calendar.
We'll be having Day of Cleansing, and it will start from the palace of Numokoli in Waite around the 3rd at the Asha town. We'll be having what we call Night of the Lights, or in Ghana language, Kabi BECE. And then on Friday, that is the day the high street will be closed in the evening. There will be a lot of music, folk music, and cultural display, and then there will be story time. We'll have the street art exhibition and carnival of various forms.
Festival partners, including the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, will conduct blood donation and free health screening for over 4,000 people alongside the Urban Sports Festival at Gamada.
Everything that will project the Ghana, I'm very interested because no community country, they want me away. I can manage what I may, I can what project way. Came of Fiamma Patient and told him she not me told Maria Peggy. This is the time you fair or I feel me ask me. You tell me panyafai. Program there is Bahakame. Or me told your mommy. Me, Mayor of Accra. Program there, we have support 100%.
The celebrations climax on Sunday with a grand musical performance at the Osiakai Park, uniting artists, cultural groups, and audience in one colorful display of Ghana heritage. Organizers say the festival is not just entertainment, but also a platform to preserve cultural identity, promote wellness, and celebrate the spirits of community.
So that's about all we have for you tonight. Bulletin led by Awushi Dede Janga. My name is Kweku Temen. It's always a delight joining you with the latest happenings throughout the country. Obviously, this is the platform where you get education, information, and entertainment. So yes, it's GHOne TV. Keep your channel right.